This is Tim, and this is Deconstructing Comics. Welcome to Deconstructing Comics. This is Tim in Tokyo. This week, part one of my annual report on the Kaigai Manga Festa, or Overseas Comics Fest, held November 23rd at Tokyo Big Sight alongside the larger Comitia Festival. As always, photos of all the interviewees and links to their work can be found in the show notes in your podcast app. Or if your app doesn't support all that, look it up at deconstructingcomics.com. In this episode, we have Marvel artists Ario Anindito and J.L. Mast, published manga artist Ryo Katagiri, a French woman who goes by Moemai, who does a lot of beautiful manga-influenced art, a Brazilian couple who live in Tokyo and both make comics, plenty of old friends like Petar Tasev, Chris Carlier, and Victor Edison, and more. First, just a reminder that you can help this podcast by making your Amazon purchases via deconstructingcomics.com/Amazon and make that your bookmark for future purchases. We'll then get a percentage of what you spend. It costs you nothing extra and helps us cover web hosting and the other costs of presenting this show every week. We really appreciate your support. This is Tim on November 23rd, 2017 at Kaigai Manga Festa, or Overseas Comics Festival, alongside the big Comitia Festival in Tokyo on a Japanese holiday on a Thursday. Happens to be Thanksgiving in the U.S. as well. What a week this has been. I bumped up my hip falling downstairs. I had a mysterious fever and swollen throat that vanished the next day. I cut my finger on a vegetable cutter, and I have a cold. But other than that, I'm great. And so I'm here today to talk to some people we've talked to before and some people we haven't talked to before. This is now the fifth straight one of these that I've attended out of 6 total. As I never fail to mention every year, I missed the first one because I didn't know about it in time. But I've been to every one since then. And it's not quite starting time yet. It's 10 minutes to go. Starts at 11 o'clock. And then I'm going to be going around to tables and talking to people who are selling comics. And I actually brought some money this year to buy some. So look for the Critiquing Comics episode later on, another month or two, where Mulele and I will read through the comics of Kaigai. So, here we go. Okay, so your name is?
Ario Anindito.
Okay, and
Yes.
What have you got here today?
I got my sketchbook, my Marvel comics, my art prints, my postcards, and my patches.
Okay, so since this is audio only, your Marvel comics here are what, Secret Empire?
Yeah, I got Secret Empire and United and Uncanny Inhumans, number 19 and 20.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So, how is it working for Marvel these days?
It's always fun actually working for Marvel, especially when you got a lot of hype and people keep asking about what's going to happen and stuff like that. And when the characters that you're drawing, and then you see the movie, and it's always fun to compare between what you're doing and what happened in the movie. Yeah.
I see. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Indonesia.
Okay.
West Java, Bandung, Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came here from Indonesia?
Yes.
For this? Okay.
Directly from Indonesia,
Okay.
fresh from the oven.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
Now the sketchbook, it says Japan version on it.
Yes.
What's different about that from the other version?
I put several sketches that I don't include in the normal version, and I did several drawing has distinctive Japanese, characters in it.
Okay.
Like if you open, there's going to be a Japanese
Godzilla.
mask. Yeah, mini Godzilla and stuff like that.
And the No mask.
And the No mask, yeah. I always love No mask.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So there's this Japanese all over the sketches in this book. Yeah.
Is this the first time you've been at this event?
I've been to Kaigai Manga Fest before in 2015. So this is my second time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think of Japan?
I love Japan. I really want to stay here, actually. Yeah, so it's always a good thing whenever I get the chance and whenever I get the time to return to Tokyo and to Kaigai and to meet my friends here and to make new friends. It's always a wonderful experience.
What do you like about this event?
This event is, I like to see the fans, I like to see the people, I like to see other people's work, which inspires me, of course, and give me, new energy to start working on new stuff later when I got back. And I just love to see so many creative stuffs all over me. And wherever you go, whatever you see, it's always drawings everywhere. It's like heaven for me.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, cool. And what's your website?
My website, you can actually search my name, Ario Anindito, like ARIO ANINDITO. And then you go and if you click the links, there will be my portfolios and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm easy to find.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Raul Trevino.
Okay, and what have you got here today?
Excuse me?
What have you got here on your table
well, I
today?
have a trilogy of art books that I've been doing all these past years. Also a manga, Thinkers of the Wasteland. This trilogy of art books is Ink and Serious. It's Ink and Punky, Ink and Wheels, Ink and Dead. And mostly I used to do comics and concept art.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
Well, I'm from Mexico, but I'm based here in Japan.
Okay. But I don't think you've been at this festival before,
This
have
is
you?
the first time.
Yeah, because I do this every year and I don't remember you, so...
Yeah, it's the first time. I used to attend to the New York Comic Con or WonderCon in Anaheim or CTN. D-Con was the last one. But I know this is my first time here, and I'm kind of excited.
So how long have you been in Japan?
Well, we moved here, my wife and me, in June, so we have maybe around 5 months.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool. I kind of feel like there's kind of some Mexican background here, especially
here.
Yeah, right.
In Candet, yeah.
What is the festival in Mexico? Like Day of the Dead or something?
Yeah, it's the Day of the Dead, and these characters are inspiring that tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that tradition is about making small tales, like a short tales, telling the story of someone who is going to die. So we laugh at the dead in some way. So we just trying to take it easy, but of course it's a painful situation still, But we just manage this merging the culture of pre-Hispanic and the actual culture.
I see. Cool. And what is your website?
My website is trevinoart.com.
Okay, Stephen Cummings is back. Good to see you.
Hey Tim, how you doing?
Okay, so what have you got here today? I see a lot of Wayward.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we have is Wayward. Other than that, I have some pages from old Marvel and DC books.
I see. And is this the Japanese version of Wayward?
This is the doujinshi we made. We had a lot of Japanese readers who were contacting me early on in the series who were telling me, we buy your book, we like it, but we can't read it. And so I kind of felt bad for them. And so what we did was we did a translation into Japanese, and then we just used the line art, which is why we have all these notes I've left for the inker and I'm sorry, not the inker, for the colorist.
For the colorist.
So there's a lot of production notes in here, and we put that together as a black and white sort of doujinshi, so people who like the comic can actually read it as well.
I see. Cool.
We have trades. The normal trades is the French edition, which is pretty cool. And then we have that's the deluxe trade for America. So we're just here to meet people and hopefully get an idea of what our readers are into, what they like about the book.
Okay, cool. So this is taking all your time these days, which is wayward.
Yeah, it always takes all my time.
Okay.
No time for anything.
Okay. And so your website is?
I don't have a website.
Don't have a website.
I have a page on Facebook.
Facebook, yeah, that's what we
Cummings
usually
artist.
link to,
Yeah.
right.
JL Mast.
Right, and we met at Comic Art Tokyo last year.
Yes,
And this year it's 2 days after Kaigai, so it's kind of a slog. Are you going to be at both?
No, I wish I was, but I'm at another event that takes at the same place. So I'm really sad because I would have loved to be at Kata again, but not this year, I'm afraid.
I see. So I'm looking at your stuff on the table here. You got a lot of Marvel characters, I see.
Yes, I finished last year working on Daredevil Punisher with Charles Soule and Simon Kodonsky. And Daredevil Punisher was a limited series, and since then I've worked on Guardians of the Galaxy, which has been released on digital format by Marvel Comics.
I see. Okay. Cool. And now you live here in Tokyo?
I wish, but now I live in France, and I try to come as much as I can to Japan, especially to Kyoto, which is a city I love.
Okay. So do you notice anything particular about the comics events in Japan compared to France or other places?
I think the thing is, comics are not that popular in Japan, so it's starting to get traction. I feel there's more and more Japanese interested in comic books, but the events,
like overseas comics.
The events are really diverse. You can find comics, manga event, bande dessinée, French comics. There's a lot of diversity that you can find everywhere. So I don't see a great difference, but only thing is we are in Japan, so everything is a bit more crazier here, I think.
More what?
Crazier.
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 Okay. But crazier how? How is it crazy?
I was in a Japanese event in Tokyo in last August, and I was asked things like Daredevil kissing the wife of a man who commissioned me the drawing. So stuff like that, stuff you were not used to.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Hasn't happened to me.
I wish it doesn't. I wish it's not going to happen again because it's really weird.
Okay, cool. So what are you working on now?
Well,
Next thing.
I'm working on a graphic novel, 400 pages, about the creation of Marvel Comics in the 30s and 40s. It's really a big book, a lot of research to do, and it's going to tell the story of Martin Goodman and Stan Lee, how they started what's going to become Marvel in the 60s.
I see. Okay, and what's your website?
jlmast.com.
Okay, familiar faces here. Now, I forget what your pen name is. I'm not sure what I should call you.
It's Angelo Mokutan.
Angelo Mokutan, right. Okay. So we were just saying, last year you weren't here because you were... Where were you? Some other country?
Yes, last year I was in India.
India. Okay.
Yeah, it was like a very interesting trip. India is a very nice place, totally different from... It's not east, it's not west. It's a unique culture. Recommended.
Okay. So what have you been working on since I last talked to you here?
Oh, well, lots of things. So today we have a new book. It's called Gekido no Michi, The Path of Fury. And so, well, the theme is theory itself. And it's a story that a guy that goes into this path and has some problems. And he has one of the unique things of this story is he has a stone that he has to have people just like to pass their hand on the stone until this stone becomes really, really... until the stone disappears. So he has to have a lot of people doing this. in just like in change of good actions that he does to these people because he has done something very bad in the past. And also recently we are published in the net. There's a new label called Comic Jingai, and it's the title is Leonora no Mojukei. It's like the nation to the beasts of Leonora. It's a story based on ancient Rome. Leonora is a girl that she's breeding lions, and usually those lions that were used to those games, or mostly games at the Coliseum where people were sentenced to death. And the story begins when her favorite lion is sent to a place of a very bad guy, and she goes after the lion, leaves everything back, and goes after this lion to protect him.
Okay. Interesting.
Thank you.
Okay. So what are you going to be doing next?
Well, we are working on this series of Ancient Rome because it's a long-term series. It's published monthly.
Oh, wow.
And the first chapter was just released this month. And probably the next one on the 11th of December. It has already very nice reviews at Amazon.
Okay.
Until the 26th of this month, you can download it for free.
Okay.
So,
this will be coming out in December, so.
All right. Sorry for that.
Okay, no problem. And so your website is?
Okay, the website is www.studio.jp.
Right, just two W's and no dot after them.
Yes, that's it.
Little counterintuitive, right. Okay, I remember that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we have a couple gentlemen here from Hong Kong. First time at this festival. What's your name?
Wai On.
That's on the card you gave me.
Oh, Waki.
Okay. Okay, can you describe what you've got on your table here?
Sorry?
So you can see there's different drawings. It's all from these authors. It's originally from his art book, from his comic books, the Fingerprint of the Darkness. And Fingerprint of the Darkness is actually four short stories. For 4 different writers. The stories is based on some is talk about the dark side of a people, of a human.
Okay.
And this topic is quite special in Hong Kong because Hong Kong comics usually they focus on martial arts. And so this topic is very extraordinary in Hong Kong. So it gets some a big focus in Hong Kong also. And this time they want to show the Japanese readers of their work. So it is the first time to come here.
I see. Okay. Yeah, and we've got a lot of attractive women here and some horror-looking stuff maybe also. Okay. Web address? Where are you on the internet?
Internet web address.
See, so you gave me your card.
Facebook,
is it on here?
Facebook. They got a Facebook fan page. Facebook page.
Okay. All right, so I'll link facebook.com, Fingerprint of the Darkness. Cool. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so our interpreter on that last bit was this gentleman from Macau, and your name is?
I'm Howard.
And
I'm Sam Lee.
Okay, and now what are these comics from Macau that you have here?
Yeah, so I'm bring 4 different Macau comics here, and one is Star Walker, and Sam Lee is the author of Star Walker. Okay, and there's another, for example, the police constable and a cat's diary. Another one is we are focusing on this one is the boxing. Yeah, because the author is also a boxer before in Macau. And it talks about the Chinese boxer Zhao Ximing. Yeah. the story of he got a gold medal in Olympics.
Okay, so it's a biography.
Yes, you can
Okay.
say that.
And what's this one? Something about police?
Yes, police. Yeah, because it's a story about a junior police. Or when you try to be a policeman, you have to take some school, something. When you pass exam, then you can be a police. It talks about that. There's a story about that. And this one is about cat. The cat is walk around. This one is no dialogues. So that means every people can understand.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
it talks
no
about
language barrier.
the World Heritage in Macau. There's 3 different places. One is the ruins of St. Paul's. It's very famous in Macau. Yeah, and many travelers when they go to Macau, they go to ruins of St. Paul's. And they also write about this Macau street. So if you see these comics, you may interest in Macau.
I see.
And a Markov Temple, it's a temple. Those are very famous spot when you come to Macau.
Okay, so it's a cat's life, but it's also sort of Macau travelogue.
Yes, you can say
Tourist
that.
brochure.
Yeah, you can say that.
My name is Eric Chen.
All right, and what do you have here today?
Today I have a sketchbook with a collection of the commissions I've received over the course of this year, and a few comic blank covers that I've done, and I'm also working on a few commissions for people today.
Okay. Now, what kind of stuff have you like published?
So I've done some work for online gaming. So for a lot of slot games, as well as some children's books. Nothing major yet, but I'm working towards that.
I see. Okay. But your commissions seem to be mainly Marvel and DC stuff here.
Yes, it's the voice of the fans, I guess. So I'm going to try and work my way up there.
Is this your first time at this festival?
Yes, this is the first time for me at the Kaigai Manga Festa.
Okay. Have you been to Japan before?
I'm actually based here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Japan?
This is my 10th year here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
So I was born in Arkansas. Parents from Taiwan, and grew up here and there.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Katagiri Ryo.
All right. And so on your card it says Weekly Shonen Sunday. So
Yeah.
you have a comic in that magazine?
Yeah, I was draw the weekly magazine and monthly magazine.
Okay. What did you draw? What comics?
It's kind of tutti.
Tutti.
It's about the brass band comic. It's about the brass band. And,
Okay, so like aimed at high school
yes,
students?
a high school student club, and it's about the ninja comedy comics.
Okay, it's a
And-
separate comic
yeah,
here,
yeah.
the ninja.
Another
so,
story.
so brass band comic and ninja
Ninja comic.
Ninja, but they're both. It looks like high school students who are
Yes,
ninjas, right?
also high school student. Yes.
Yeah, it's not set in Edo times.
And that is culture, Japanese culture, and another foreign culture, competitive comics.
Okay.
It's kind of comic essay.
Essays in
Yeah.
comics form about
it's
Japan.
non-fiction. Non-fiction per story. Yeah.
I see.
It's
Interesting.
10.
Okay. Now you're sharing a table
Yes,
here?
my friends.
Okay,
My
cool.
friends, they are artists.
All right, what's your name?
My name's Fiona Ostby.
Okay, and you have mostly postcards here today?
Yeah, just these 3 actually. This is the first one of these I've ever done, and I came in not really knowing how much stuff to put out and a little not super confident.
I see. Okay.
But
where are you from originally?
I'm from the Bay Area in California.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
I've been in Japan like 3.5 years. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so just kind of doing a little bit of art. I mean, have you done any comics or?
Actually, I'm in a master's degree program right now, making comics. And I come from an illustration background. My undergrad, what do you call it?
Bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree, yeah, it was in illustration. Actually, we went to the same university in California.
Okay. And what's your name?
My name is Mutsumi.
Mutsumi. Okay, so Mutsumi and Fiona, you went to the same school.
Yeah. Yeah, we were both in the illustration program there.
Okay.
So.
Okay,
yeah.
and so Mutsumi, what do you have here?
Oh, I have some illustration, watercolor illustration, postcards, and some. I'm making a story right now, so introduction of my story.
Okay, Mutsumi Kanzawa, I see. Okay, and what's your story about? This is like, is this like ancient Japan or something?
This one, ancient Japan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, and these are all different things here.
Different things.
So, what is your story about?
This one is about this one.
Letters to K.
About a person who is making postcards, and this is she was traveling around the world, and she's gonna be sending postcards from each country that she visited. So there's a website for it, and then people can see the postcards from different countries and their cultures and landscapes and.
Okay. mkanillust.com. Okay. Cool. Do you have a website, Fiona?
Yes, I do. It's right here. It's very small. FionaOstby.com.
Okay. And do you have a website? I guess on probably on your card, but
I have only Pixiv.
Pixiv.
You know Pixiv?
Yeah, okay, I know
comics.
Pixiv.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll link to that then. Cool.
Ian Herring.
Okay, and we're thinking we might have met a cat last year.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, so...
Might be another show, so...
what have you got here today?
I'm selling my illustrations from Toronto. I also have a comic available called Junior Citizens, which is a retro sci-fi story. And this is the first time I've been at Kaigai with it. This is my second time at the show. I came with TCAF, but this is my first time here with an old table. So.
I remember now, yes.
So it was a couple years ago, but wanted to come back and see how it is. So.
I see, okay. So you've been doing mostly illustrations rather than comics?
Yeah, I only started doing comics about 2 years ago. Typically, I work in Marvel, so I work for them as my day job.
Oh, I see.
As a colorist, and then this is me getting into comics because normally I did illustrations before. So.
Okay, as a colorist. So
yes.
What have you colored?
Miss Marvel, Silk, Guardians of the Galaxy, and a couple other ones, like some Spider-Man. So.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool. Then you live in Toronto?
Yes.
Okay, so you came over here for this.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Excellent. And so you guys are kind of splitting the table here?
Yes.
All right. And what's your name?
Hi, I'm Moo.
I'm sorry?
I'm Moo, like
Moo.
a cow.
Okay. And you've got some banana pins here, little fluffy bananas, and some kind of fold-up books. I'm not sure what to call this exactly.
It's like so they start out as a web comic that you read vertically. So they're like accordion. They're like an accordion. Mm-hmm. It's a story, so you read from top to bottom. Like,
yeah. Sure. Okay. Yeah, it's accordion folded book, and you just kind of fold through it and see the story. Cool. Okay. So you made all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a kind of comic. Really, it's sequential art, right?
Yeah, it's stories. It's
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Do you have a website?
I don't have a formal website right now, but I have a Tapas website. Do you know the website Tapastic?
Yeah. Tapastic.
So I have this on Tapastic.
Okay.
And I'm working on a website right now, but it's not done yet. So everything is just on. It's just better to go on the Tapastic website.
Tapas.io/Michelle Mengtian.
Yeah.
Okay. And Michelle Mengtian. Okay.
Harmony Becker.
Okay. It must be your first time at this festival.
It is.
I've never met you before. Where are you from?
I'm from Ohio. I'm currently kind of homeless, but just going around to a bunch of different comic shows. I was at Comic Arts Brooklyn. I'm here now, and then I'm going to CALA in December.
CALA? What's that?
Comic Arts Los Angeles.
Oh, I see. All right, interesting. So what do you have here today?
So I have prints, I have stickers, I have enamel pins, but I'm most excited about comics that I have here today. This one is the one I'm most excited about. It's called Himawari Share, and it's about international students who are living in a share house in Tokyo, and kind of like some of them are Japanese and they're rediscovering their roots and from different countries around Asia and stuff like that.
I see. So is that your newest one then?
Yes, this is my newest one. I also have a couple of like fantasy type stuff.
So Anemone and Catharus.
Yeah.
Okay. Bloom, Love Potion, You Who Never Arrived.
Yeah, this one is more like poetry and illustrations. This is like a story about like a diver who goes into the ocean searching for a plant, and then he meets this mermaid and becomes friends with her, and it's a whole big fun thing.
I see. Cool. Do you have a website?
Yes, I put most of my stuff up on Instagram. My name is Hamini on Instagram, Hamini.
Okay. Coming up, Moemai, Nao Yazawa, Petar Tasev, and more. Thanks to our patrons. Last week I released Vintage Episode 110 from January 14th, 2008, in which Mulele, Patrick, and I discuss attending a different Tokyo Comics event, Comic Market. This week I'll be releasing Episode 109, in which Brandon and I discuss several books, including The Homeless Channel. This is the episode in which I made my intemperate comment about Matt Sility that resulted in his appearance on the show 3 episodes later. Watch for it at the end of your podcast feed, on our Facebook page, or at patreon.com/deconcomics, where you can pledge a monthly amount to keep the show going and unlock more vintage episodes. The Patreon goal we hit unlocked episodes back to number 101, so there are still 8 vintage episodes on deck to be released. You can help unlock more vintage episodes by making a pledge. Go to patreon.com/deconcomics right now and pledge at least $3 a month. We really appreciate your support.
Are you willing to follow me on a journey and risk getting lost in a swirling maze of past ages, protected only by our red indestructible capes as we break through the final unexplored realm of the time barrier to explore the fantastic Silver Age adventures of the world's greatest hero, Superman? If so, join me each week on the Superman Fan Podcast, as together we'll follow the Man of Steel, his cousin Supergirl, and his closest friends, Perry White, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Lana Lang, Batman and Robin, and others in Superman's never-ending quest to defend truth and justice in the pages of Action Comics, Superman, World's Finest Comics, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, and Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. Go to the supermanfanpodcast.blogspot.com, available on iTunes and most other podcast aggregators. You can also follow the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Medium, Flipboard, and Stitcher. And after you listen, feel free to send email to supermanfanpodcast@gmail.com. And unless you request otherwise, I look forward to reading your comments on future episodes. And don't forget to wear your red indestructible cape, standard safety equipment for traveling through the time barrier.
I'm Sonia, but my pen name is Moemai.
Moemai. Okay.
Yeah,
Moemai.
Yeah.
All right. And so you've done these comics here?
Yeah, I've self-published some books and comics, and an art book here, and sketchbooks.
Okay, so what are your comics about?
depend on the stories. Some are just love stories, like shorts, novels, really about the characters. And one is about magician girl who's helping people with her kind of magic power.
I see. Okay. So yeah, a little kind of manga influenced.
Yeah, it's half manga, half French comic style, because I grew up with both.
Okay, so where are you from?
France.
From France. Okay. Well, so did you come here just for this, or do you live here? Or?
Actually, no, I came here for this and vacation, so I'm staying like 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
But I already lived here 1 year, 5 years ago, to study and stay here.
Okay, so you came back for a visit.
Yeah, I always come back. It's like my 7th time, maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. All right. And do you have a website?
Yeah.
Moemai.fr.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Cool.
it's in English. If you
It's in English. Okay. Good. Okay. So your name is?
Kotobuki Ruki と申します。
Kotobuki
Ruki.
Ruki.
はい。
Okay. So yeah. So English speaking listeners. So. But I understand Japanese, so if nothing else, I can translate.
ポッドキャストってそういうどうしよう。I can speak English with, but she's. I can talk to her. I can do the interpreting.
Sure. Okay. All right. So what are you selling today?
今日はどんなの売ってますか？ここにある4種類の漫画を。Selling different comic books
Okay.
today.
And so what are these about?
これはどんな内容ですか？下町のなんだろうな、いいところを描いた漫画です。
Shitamachi Sampo. So walking around Shitamachi area of Tokyo. Okay. So it's just like kind of a tour of the area as a comic.
地域を案内するような感じです。それもありますし、こうちょっと
There's a story also.
ヒストリーですね。歴史がちょっと日本の歴史ですかね。Also talks about a bit about history. 何でしたっけ？何の歴史でしたっけ？このイチョウの話が載っています。浅草のイチョウって何だ？イチョウって何だ？Ginkgo tree.
Ginkgo tree.
Ginkgo tree. There's a famous big ginkgo tree in this area. It talks about the history of that.
I see. Okay. And why the tree is famous and like that. Okay.
なんで有名なのかとかそういうことで書いてるってことですね。そうね。小さい子供が出てくるんですけど、彼が銀杏の木を通して少し大人になる話です。It talks about this little kid who learns about the history of this gecko tree, and it helps him grow up a little.
I see. Okay, interesting. So, how long have you been making comics?
漫画どれぐらい描いてますか？小さい頃からですね。Since I was a little. 小学校の頃にはもうすでに描いてました。I was already making comics when I was in elementary school.
I see. Okay. And so are you self-publishing? Are you like?
出版してる感じですか？自分でも自己出版って感じですか？そうですね、自己出版が多いですね。Mostly I did self-publishing. I sometimes bring my work to publishing companies as well.
Okay, cool. Okay, and so you're using Facebook for your website? Facebook/Kotobuki Ruki?
Facebook を使って自分の紹介してるんですけど、時々してますね。Yes, I use Facebook.
Yeah. So Nao Yazawa is here. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Anything new this year?
this one I make the new holy. Every year I made this for this specific event. So like this for Kaigai Manga Festa, it's kind of collaboration. Since this is international, so not the Comitia, not the comic market, Comiket. So like this is involved for several of my friends from overseas. And this year I can join two Japanese. So like this, I think it's 3 American, one Irish, and 3 Japanese.
Oh.
That's one. Hopefully it's more variety. I mean, this time I got this someone from Venezuela or Thailand or Germany.
Other volumes.
Yeah, various Asian, European, South American, America. But this time it's American and 1 European people.
So I keep kind of keeping an eye on the size of the festival. It seems like it's maybe about the same size as last year. I don't know that it's getting any bigger necessarily. What's your impression?
I think, trying to be, the keeping is actually not easy. And of course, it's this Kaigai Manga Festa has a big advantage because they can rely on a very big event, Comitia. Comitia is very steady and increasing every year, getting bigger and bigger. So, and sometimes they have to refuse or get too much application, too much application, and sometimes they need to off some people.
So
that's big.
So the Kaigai space is limited because Comitia.
Yeah, I mean, this is not so really big, and of course, recently Tokyo Comic Con started, and slightly similar, and slightly or much bigger. So this event is more like handmade, and people know each other. And the purpose is more like know each other, communicate to each other, and make bond between artists.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of the same people every year, and it makes it a little more of a community.
And hopefully, it's much much variety or more dynamic movement. And let's see, I'm not sure because I'm not the organizer, but I hope the organizer work hard and getting bigger or something that get new blood here.
Yeah. Okay. So, Petar Tasev is here again. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay. Anything new this year?
Yes. You can see half of the table is new stuff. I made a new book, and even though the cover is something that was in the previous one, it is one of the best things that represents what's inside the new one. It's unpublished before in the previous book art. You can take a look if you'd like. It's, again, funny pictures. I have one short comic also. Illustrations. I have my new series of the little orc baby character and his mischiefs. And it is much better structured than the last one, so it is better to look at.
Okay, that's good. Good to be improving.
Yeah, last one I put everything in there, cramped as much as I could, and it's not really that easy to find what you would otherwise look for.
I see. Okay.
I made some prints of my color art and so on. I have original art, also the original orc baby illustrations. This is what I drew.
What is this baby?
Orc.
Yeah,
the little, what do you call these? The tusks are barely visible, but it's like cute baby orc.
I see.
It's cute, it's baby, but it's orc, so you can expect different things.
I see, okay, cool. So how is business today? How is this festival going compared to the past?
Same.
The same?
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Okay, cool.
How's it going? How do you feel it's here now? Is it
This feels pretty much the same. I think they laid out the tables a little bit differently, but otherwise it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, maybe some different people.
Right, there are always some familiar faces, some new faces. It's always like that. Yeah. Okay, so what are your names?
I'm Julia Nascimento.
I'm Felipe Kolb Bernardes.
Okay, and where are you from?
Brazil.
From Brazil, okay. And you actually know Deconstructing Comics, so...
Yeah, we are listeners.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay. We have listeners in Brazil, great.
But we live here in Japan.
We live in Japan, actually.
You live in Japan, okay. Yeah, so do I, as you might have figured out from listening to the podcast. So, what have you got here today?
We have the whole collection of our comics called Feijoada. It's 5 issues.
And I brought my solo project that's called Raiders from the North. It's an ongoing series about Vikings raiding the UK.
Yeah, and I have also two zines, but they're not comics. They are illustration zines.
I see. Okay. So, figure how to read this. How to read this title.
Feijoada.
Feijoada.
Yes.
Okay. So their names, the characters' names.
It's actually my name and her name.
Yeah, because
mixed together.
Feijoada is this Brazilian.
In the back we have.
Yeah, this dish. So it's called feijoada, but we thought interesting to take the fe from Felipe and Ju from Julia.
Okay.
And mix and create the name.
So kind of a pun, your names and the food.
Yeah, it's a pun, yeah. And we love food.
Yeah, the food is also like a mixture of everything that they had. Something like a pork beef stew or something.
Like a casserole in the U.S. or something.
Yeah, so we also put ourselves here.
In the food.
Yes.
Yeah, we are eating ourselves.
Okay, I'm not sure what to call that. Interesting. And so, is this kind of autobio comic? Or?
Yeah, it's about our life in Japan, but it's also about making this comic.
Yeah, how we had the idea.
Oh, really so meta.
For each issue, we have a story about how's making this comic, and the last issue is about ending this comic, finishing the comic.
Okay. Okay, so it's like that season of Seinfeld where they were making the show on the show. Okay.
But we didn't got arrested.
Okay, cool. And what's your website?
We have Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, and Twitter account.
Yes.
And it's at Feijoada Comics.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, I always stumble on pronouncing your last name.
Oh, Carlier.
Carlier.
Yeah.
You pronounce the second R.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris Carlier. So how are you today?
Oh, fine. Yeah. I brought a new comic today.
Baboon.
Yeah, it's about a Japanese mascot, like a pharmaceutical company mascot who gets fired and kind of joins the Occupy movement.
Half spoon, half baboon.
Yeah.
Baboon, the Ronin mascot.
That's right, yeah.
Sounds interesting.
It's a mascot with no master. Roaming the lands, looking for work.
Awesome. Yeah, so how's the festival going so far?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm just about awake now. It's an early start for me, but yeah. Sold a few copies so far, so not bad. Yeah,
cool. And what's your website?
Well, people can find me at littleinjapan.com. Yeah. Oh, and I talk about mascots at mondomascots.com. So I'm actually into mascots.
Yeah. Well, it's a big thing in Japan.
Yeah.
So, Victor Edison, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. It's good to see you again.
Yeah. You made any progress on life in Japan this year?
Yeah, we're got the 2016 book is out.
Okay.
I'm trying to print it out in seasons now. I'm trying to get the costs down. But I'm not sure the reception has been kind of mixed, so no.
Okay, so this is spring 2016.
Spring 2016 and
or winter and spring.
Winter and spring, and then spring to summer. The two books I got out right now. So.
All right, so it's like what, January through March and April through June, like that. Okay,
that's how it works.
I see.
I also tried changing the format a little bit, putting the Japanese and the English both in the same panel, as opposed to where I had it before, where you'd have one side of the book would be all English, and then you flip it around, the other side of the book would be all Japanese. So this way I think might be a little bit easier to read.
I see. But, okay. Well, and that would get the cost down too, then you don't have to print everything twice.
Right, exactly. So it cuts the cost in half, I think. But
I see. Cool. Yeah, and now are you self-publishing this, or how
Yep,
is this?
no, it's self-publishing.
Okay. Because I think you've had something out through Big Ugly Robot, didn't you?
Yeah, I've had several. So Big Ugly Robot has published the Momotaro for Peach Boy and the Falling stuff. They also published my first book, the first year life in Japan. So about my experience in 2004 when I came to Japan.
I see. Jeremy Lambros.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a new Citizen Spaceman?
Yeah, so part 2 of Citizen Spaceman. So kind of continuing the story and, kind of showing you a little more about the situation and, kind of what's going on and some new encounters. So each part is going to involve kind of unlocking a new part of himself or his journey. And so kind of like putting him together piece by piece.
I see. Okay.
And still the same bilingual format, so Japanese one way and English the other. Yeah. So same style as the first book.
Okay. And then you got some buttons and some
t-shirts and
your postcard. So this is from your other comic. I'm blanking on the name
Domestic
of
Abuse.
Domestic Abuse.
Yeah, my weekly gag cartoon. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I always think it's interesting how all of the objects have little tiny faces.
Yes.
It's like a couple of eyes and maybe a mouth.
Right, yeah. So kind of limited expression, but it works, I guess, in the context of the jokes that I use. That deadpan expression works pretty well.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And your website is what?
You can go to citizenspaceman.com or jeremylambros.com.
So Oscar's here. Hi, Oscar.
Hey.
What do you got here today?
I got a bit of a reprint actually, but it's all the old stuff I made up until now at Comitia in English with a beautiful cyan magenta color version for. And it's all wrapped up in one big book. My biggest book I ever did actually. It's very close to 100 pages, and. It's a new one right now. I didn't quite have the time to write something completely new, but I figured I'd upgrade all the other ones and give them a second chance at life.
And I see you got copies of Kai here also.
Oh yeah, the remainders of.
Okay, so how's it going since we talked last winter?
Pretty alrighty. I've been mostly doing the reprints. Kind of busy on personal stuff and stuff as well, so I haven't been drawing that many new stuff, but I figure I'll take it maybe a little easier right now, because getting a new book out at every Comitia is really starting to drain my resources a little bit. But
4 times a year.
So I might skip one and do one or something like that in order to get more stuff on the table. But we'll see, I suppose.
I see. Okay, cool. All right, and now you have a website. I don't remember. I think you had something.
I was gonna make one, but it's not it's in production. For now, I'm just on Twitter. So.
Okay. And that's what, Big Fat Dog?
Yes, at Big Fat Dog Comics.
And And that's it for part 1. Again, photos of all the tablers and links to their sites can be found in the show notes. Tell us what you think. Write us at mail@deconstructingcomics.com, Twitter @deconcomics. Like our Facebook page or join our Facebook discussion group. Find all the links on the right sidebar at deconstructingcomics.com. We're also on YouTube, on the Comics Podcast Network at comicspodcast.com, and on comicon.com, where our new episodes appear a few days before they show up anywhere else. Also, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. We really need more listeners to give us reviews and help us stand out from all those other podcasts out there. Our theme is from bensound.com. Last Thursday on To the Bat Polls, we were joined by the 66 Message Board's own High C to discuss an episode he's researched deeply, The Wail of the Siren. Look up To the Bat Polls wherever you find your podcasts or at tothebatpolls.libsyn.com. If you're looking for some constructive feedback on your comic, send it to us and Mulele and I will critique it on our spin-off podcast, Critiquing Comics. Send it to mail@deconstructingcomics.com. We'll read at least 30 pages of it and critique it on the show. A new episode is coming this Thursday right here in this podcast feed. Next week, more from Kaigai, including the usual Kaigai chat with Mulele. Till then, this is Tim, and thanks for listening to Deconstructing Comics.